Welcome to Big 5 Weekly. Let's take a look at XRP to start, and there's not much indication basically besides earlier this week it didn't go past the halfway line of the trading range that's set starting from, let's say, September last year, and we can see here this yellow line is the halfway between the white line and the red line. So as soon as it touched the yellow line, it comes back down to where it is now at 54 cents, 80. So if nothing changed, then it's going to bounce between these two lines likely. If we look at the volume bar as well, so we see this volume isn't like too big of a difference compared to this in mid-October. But then if we look at the candlestick, it's a huge difference, almost more than double the size of this candle in mid-October. So it may be indicating that there's very little supply, but quite a number of people are fighting to get a piece of that supply. It may or may not be a good sign because it can be the whales are distributing whatever left over on their hands, and that's where it gets to the ugly part if that's the case. Hopefully it's not, and it's going to continue the range-bound activities that we saw since October last year. So let's see what will unfold for XRP. And then for Solana, if we take a look, there's a little bit more interesting thing that can be seen. So in Wyckoff method, there's something called the up thrust, meaning after the climax and a couple of second tests, the whales are going to test the market, or the smaller fishes like us, that whether there are people still willing to go in. And similarly, if we look at the volume bar, we look at this one over here in late October, it created just a small candlestick that the price gap isn't that much. But then when we look at what we have this week, a smaller volume bar, but a much larger candlestick. Again, similar story as XRP. Quite a number of people are fighting for very few supply. That's what can be implied from this volume and candlestick comparison. So again, up first, if we look at the Wyckoff method, if you go Google about it, the up first is basically something that if tested, there are no more interested small fishes, the whales will trigger something similar to this. So let's see whether it will unfold like this. So we can see here this green line on the top is the resistance line set March this year, when the buying climax reached the top. And as soon as it slightly hit over that line, it comes back down. So it could be a bull trap if there is somebody setting quite high expectation of this climb. So that's Solana. And then for BNB, again, it went over the top of this, but then if I treat this part as up first, you see this UT over here, right? There can be multiple UT afterwards, but we'll have to see whether it can stand longer than a week. So last time, the up first during early June, it only lasted for a week, and then it drops back down to the green resistance line. So if it comes back down, it will probably go range bound over here at the past month or a month and a half, almost 2 months over here between the midway and the top of the trading range. So whether it will come down all the way to the red line, we'll have to wait and see. But when we look at the volume, it's telling the same story. So a lower volume bar compared to mid-October, a much higher or much wider price gap in the candlestick. It's a lot of people competing for very limited supply. So hopefully it's not the whales distributing the last few slices of pizza. So let's take a look at the next one, Ethereum. Ethereum, it looks like it's a little bit positive sign over here, where it went above the red line, where it's the lower bound of the trading range earlier during the peaks over the course of from February to July, so almost half a year. The first half of 2024. So after that, so far we're having a range bound between the purple line and the red line. So the good sign I was saying is this higher volume bar, but it's not that high actually. Slightly higher, but at least it's confluence with the story in the candlestick compared to BNB, Solana, and XRP. At least the candlestick, the tall candlestick comes with a taller volume bar, but we don't know for sure. It can still be the same kind of activities as in BNB, So, or even XRP, that there are final round of distribution going on before the actual final collapse. So this can still be kind of like the last point of supply. So Ethereum, a bit risky, but looks like more positive than Solana or BNB. But we don't know for sure. We're just looking at past data to explain what has happened and what could be the case for these candlesticks that's been drawn. And then finally, Bitcoin. So here we see another first. So what happened last round over here in 2021? We had a buying climax, same as what we had earlier this year around March. And then a couple of second tests, similar last time. And then an up thrust. So the up thrust last time lasted for 5 weeks before it came down. So let's see whether we will have another similar situation or whether a up thrust will finish this week and then come back down immediately next week. If it really lasts for 5 weeks, it will be around or close to Christmas, a week before Christmas, before it comes down, but we don't know for sure. Again, similar to Ethereum, there's a higher volume bar that comes with this long candlestick with like larger price gap. But when we look further up the timeline, like beginning of August, I mentioned a few weeks, probably 2 months back. Now, August 5th is a very interesting picture. So we have a high volume bar, but very close price range candlestick. There can be a lot of change of hands. So whoever is selling and whoever has bought a lot at this like 60,000, mid 50s to 60,000 range, we'll have to see whether it's retail or is it like whales exchange hands to whales. So this bar again, pretty long, and this bar over here, a bit longer than what we had last week, but not that much longer. So a bit risky, I would say, because last week you see a very narrow price gap. So that means whoever is selling, quite some people has absorbed those volume, or I should put it the other way around. There are quite a number of people absorbing that large supply. That's why the price hasn't gone up that much compared to this week. Very limited supply. A lot of people are fighting for it. That's why the price shot up. So again, set your stop loss, manage your risk, whether it's 1 week or 5 weeks before it comes down, or is it going to continue to go up? I don't see the volume bar telling that story at the moment, but we don't know. Usually you see like 4 or 5 green bars, or over here 7 green bars to build up the momentum. Whether we'll have another 3 or 4 bars to make it reaching a much higher point, as some of the predictions in the market has told us. We don't know, but again, sell the news. So whether you see all the good news are almost public, or whether there are bad news coming, it's going to be interesting. So good luck with your trade, and then stay safe. See you next week.